Previously, I'd opened the 80's Commanders 3-pack, which is basically the Centurions cartoon characters. Now we have the Antagonist Cyborg, hacker from the show, the henchman villain with the half-machine body. Done a figure of their new scale for these figures. Open up this figure from Ramen Toys, doing these kind of forgotten cartoon characters that had awesome action figures in the 80's that I never got to get. Now with a new chance to get them in a smaller scale, looking just like the cartoon show and the original toys from the 80's. How they're able to do this, I do not know. But I'm gonna get them while the getting's good. Strangely, the little bio on the back kind of has a cutoff point. Combine Cyborg with the gets cut off there. The land drone, which is another figure they have made of the soldier enemy of the Centurions from the cartoon. So I'm hoping I can just get Hacker here, and hopefully they'll do Doc Terror himself later. Gonna have the two main villains. There's a sweet retro 80's background. He's got his helmet. Does have like kind of a shiny visor inside there in orange. Always is a little soft, so you don't scratch your very expensive action figure putting it on. With his kind of shredder spikies there that he always had. That is cool. And his weapon attachments there. The spiky mace ball. This kind of unique, kind of fin-shaped weapon blade as well. Usually kind of double-ended weapons there. Whew, very fresh toy scent. So he has his two halves, hefty pieces. I can see the flesh of the head, you know, is molded in that way, but here on the body it is painted, so it is a little bit different. And that will scratch off if you were playing with these really heavy or something like that. Not really meant for that, they're definitely collector figures. But the face, very good for like the show. And the color of his robotic pieces, he's got the same kind of appliance kind of pieces like the Centurions had. The robot leg. But here we have the inside actually has some coloring and detail, so when it is apart, you can kind of see the pieces. And the cyborg kind of side with its own articulated arm as well. That is kind of limited in its movement the way it is. That is the robot side, but here's like his kind of AI brain. The inside of this piece has a lot. There's not like an attachment piece, it's just supposed to be a magnet, I guess, inside. So, whoa, yep, they just snap right together. But it's not super strong, so it is a little loose. So if you were playing with them again, it's not really meant for that. It does not hold together that great, but it will on your shelf when you pose them. But that is a little bit of an issue that it's only magnetically held together. I mean, I'm kind of pulling on a little bit and it wants to split apart. Man, he is a thick dude when he is together with that extra half. I always love the big kind of episodes in the show when they kind of split and the two AI halves of the villains came together and formed like a robo brain of evil. That'd be an awesome thing to do if they did do the Doc Terror figure, which I really hope they do. Very cool with the piston pumps here, but the articulation on the robot pieces is just a little bit. It's not like the free range of like the human arm. It has a lot more motion like a typical action figure. Even this side's leg is a lot more motion than the very stiff robotic piece over here. A little bit of toe articulation there on the very robo side foot, each one. So you'll be able to position them a little bit. The arm here is where you'll be putting the pieces with the spiky here on the end. This kind of weird blade shape up here at the top, just because this has an extended piece here and then maybe one a little shorter up on the shoulder. Very stiff articulation and difficult to manage. The pieces don't lock in there too tight, so when you start moving them around, they might just come out. So it's definitely just kind of a put in place for your pose or display, however you're gonna do it. And there's not really alternate pieces, so if you want him to look complete, you'll need to fill it out with what's available. But those were his weapons on the show, and that does kind of give it a rotation articulation on both ends in a sense as well, however you wanted to show it. But again, just the magnet together, they're looking more complete here. And then again, it has the soft, so it won't mess up. Putting on the helmet and stuff, a few times he'd kind of get into combat, put on his helmet as well. They also all come in two different colors. There's the default that's a lot darker, and the dark is real kind of thing that they go for. And then there's the 80's versions that are these lighter colors, and that's what I've gotten for my Centurions and this guy right here. Getting the lighter color. It's more like the cartoon that way. But we do have these alternate hands as well. But all the alternate hands are only for the human side. So either kind of open hand, accessory kind of closed hand, or just a fist. Those are your only options. The weapon sides will have to stay just the weapons. Technically you could swap them, but it'll look a little strange. But finally a villain to go with all the Centurions. Pretty awesome. He's got this kind of two-half feature. It'll be cool only if we get Doc Terror. We definitely need the Doc Terror here. That's going to be the other way. That Doc is on this side and he has a robot half on this side in red. So it will be kind of an all-new figure. I think they went with this and then that land drone where it will magnetically combine with Hacker in this way. Definitely looking out for the Doc Terror. I think that's probably where my collection will have to stop with the Centurions, is the 3 Centurions and the 2 main villains. Just because these are more expensive action figures, but it's pretty awesome to finally have the Centurion toys I always wished I had as a kid. Watching the reruns of the Centurions on like Cartoon Network. Kind of missed out the original showings. So the toys were long out of the stores by the time I was interested in the show. Great, snag these while you can, if you can, but just know there are some limitations for what they are able to do. I would not get them as toys to play with for a kid, just because they are probably fragile, and again, especially with this guy, he's just coming apart at the slightest touch with the magnet thing. So he's more just meant to be on display looking pretty awesome as a big old villain. So be sure to check out the Centurions vid of this line if you haven't seen it. Otherwise, I open a lot of old retro action figures or remakes like in this case as well. I'd say either way, your choice, but you'll want to stay tuned right here. Probably get subscribed as well, because I have a lot more awesome stuff to show. So that way we'll see you in the next video.